Everyone knows they need to save money. What was more fundamental to people was they didn't have access to credit or an opportunity to borrow money at cheap interest rates. And we realized that that was actually a problem that we could solve, that was tangible in the market, and we were uniquely positioned to do something about it. At Esusu, we fundamentally believe the credit system in the United States of America treats you as though you're guilty until proven innocent. It just doesn't make sense, right? If I, as a new American, have no credit history, why is the default that I'm a bad credit risk? We saw that pain point in the market and realized that it wasn't just something myself and Wemimo experienced, but actually there's 45 million people in this country who are credit invisible. If we can help the 45 million people who are credit invisible unlock credit and become homeowners, that's unlocking trillions of dollars into the United States economy. It's good for everyday people, it's good for government, and it's good for taxpayers. Esusu really stemmed from my co-founder and I's personal experiences. For me, that started my family's journey immigrating to America from New Delhi, India. And like many immigrant families, we thought once we made it to this country, it was all going to be great. And unfortunately, that was very far from the truth. My father was mugged on his first day in the country. We didn't really have a place for shelter. And those early experiences really set the tone for a lot of my childhood, where I watched my parents work miracles to pave a better life for us here in the United States of America. And so inspired by that and my co-founder Wemimo's story, we founded Esusu on this premise that no matter where you come from, the color of your skin, or your financial identity, it should never determine where you end up in life. Plug and Play has been on the journey with Esusu for a long time. They actually were one of the investors in our seed round of financing in 2019. And so we give Plug and Play and the team here, Eugenio, George, Amit, other folks, a tremendous amount of credit because they took a bet on us after 326 people said no. And that is not something we take for granted. They saw the potential in what we were building and have been tremendous partners.
So we invested in August of 2019. We flew in to meet with one of our corporate partners in the financial services side, and they were looking for alternative data sources for better underwriting. And what stood out to us from Esusu is basically that they were leveraging data from rentals, which is something that no one or very few people are actually doing to help the renters build credit scores. When we put them in front of this corporate partner, we saw immediately that they were onto something incredible, and that's when we sort of decided, hey, we need to take a deeper look here. They're truly driven by what they do, but more than just the mission, it's like they're genuinely good folks. They're always asking you about how are you doing, how's your partner doing, and like what is the latest with them. And they have this truly unique capability of building bridges where a lot of people just make it very transactional, and that's what I think we all love about them.
At the time of founding Esusu, we really thought that it would be a savings company, and very quickly realized that that was the wrong approach. Everyone knows they need to save money. What was more fundamental to people was they didn't have access to credit or an opportunity to borrow money at cheap interest rates. And so we pivoted to partnering with real estate owners and capturing this untapped data asset, which is rental payments, and then reporting that into the credit bureaus. To be honest, our fundraising journey was painful. You know, when we started fundraising, Wemimo and I had put our entire corporate salaries into Esusu. We were taking on debt to live. There were sacrifices that needed to be made, but those days were also some of the most rewarding because it's when we had this big idea for how we could change the world and would do everything it took to kind of bring it to life. And so, you know, we spent a lot of time fundraising, but what was more important was spending time on the business, talking to the constituents we were trying to serve, understanding what our customers wanted, and making sure that we were building something that people wanted. And that was what we were able to validate in that time. So even if investors didn't see the potential on day one, we knew we had something special because people needed our product. They wanted it, they were willing to pay for it, the business was growing, and eventually that translated into strong enough metrics for investors to get excited about it as well.